We're back with part 3 of explaining train sounds, so let's get going. If you haven't already, make sure to watch the first 2 parts. I should really make one big video when we're done. But anyway, let's get going. What is this noise? This is a transformer. So what's a transformer? Transformers are a component that changes the voltage of AC current by having different numbers of coils of wires around a metal core. As we put AC current in on one side, it induces a current on the other, and the voltage is either stepped up or stepped down. The metal core is magnetic. This is how it works. But as the AC current oscillates, it pulls the metal core back and forth, causing it to vibrate and make the buzzing sound, which is exactly what we're hearing. Now, what about this? This sound is coming from the third rail. Unlike overhead wires, third rail needs to be split into sections to allow other tracks to cross it, or some other reasons. But when the shoe hits the start of one of these sections at speed, it sends a shockwave through the metal rail. And because metal is denser than air, this sound gets to you faster than the rest of the sound from the train, making it sound like this. Now, while we're down looking at the tracks, when you think about a train, this is probably the first sound that comes to mind. Yeah, I might have gotten a bit carried away with the videos there. But anyway, what is this sound? Sometimes it's not possible to have continuous welded rail. Maybe we need a video on that sometime. But it isn't always possible, or a specific section of track needed to get replaced, so 2 parts of rail get clamped together. However, there's still a small gap between the 2 pieces of rail, and as wheels go over this, they dip down into the gap and hit the start of the next section of rail, creating that sound. Over time, this wears down the rail and the sound gets louder. Switches also have similar gaps, but for different reasons, to allow the flanges on the wheels to cross other rails. So yeah, that's that. But while we're on flanges, let's look at the next sound. Train wheels are shaped in a special way to allow them to go around curves. But simply, the position of the wheels on the rails needs to change. But to prevent the wheel set from leaving the rails, part of the wheel extends out below the railhead. Like this.
Can you get out of the way, mate?
And on sharp curves, or at high speeds, this flange may begin scraping against the rail, making that noise. Alright, what's next? So what was all that? These are compressors, which, well, compress stuff. It's usually air, as compressed air is very useful. As they have energy, particles in the air like to move around, but if there's too many of them in a small space, it's hard for them to move without hitting each other, and they don't like that. So if we put lots of them in a small space, they'll want to leave, and as they leave, we can get them to do stuff for us. And this is really useful for lots of things.
Please take all your belongings with you.
But to get this pressurized air, we need to compress it. Now, there's lots of different types of compressors on different trains, and explaining the specifics of all of them would take forever. But most follow this idea. We let air into a container, close off the container, reduce the volume, and now the pressure is higher. So we let the gas into a different container to store it. Now every time we move the part that makes the volume of that container smaller, we get a noise. And this happens very quickly, making those noises we're hearing. And generally they're quieter on newer trains, so it's less noticeable. But yeah, that's compressors. And yeah, that's all for today. See you next time. Bye.